welcome back to the channel. Today I've been having a lot of thoughts about the law and habits and instinct. And as you know, I've told you before how I've broken the law and I've gone to jail. And those laws, the laws of man have now changed. I said something, and I don't know if y'all watch our podcast with my wife and daughter, but I said something about how that, well, it might have came off that I was a little bit arrogant about the law. And the bottom line was is that the law was the law and I broke it. And I realized that that was wrong, but what I want to focus on in this moment is that the laws of man change. They change pretty drastically and also kind of frequently. And that's just the way it is. It's like you can complain about it, you can vote about it, you can do all the things, but they're still going to change. They're going to weigh to say that murder isn't such a bad thing when you're talking about abortion, which I don't agree with. Or at one point in your life you couldn't smoke weed and now you can. I mean, there's even states where you can do mushrooms and like crazy stuff like that. It's like the law, it's just to say the law of man changes. Now you look at the law of nature, I don't know if you can see outside, but like this time of year, the spring's happening. Those laws do not change. They fluctuate from the place that, sometimes when it's a little bit warmer, the plant thinks that it's time to bloom and here comes a snowstorm, but Mother Nature is able to take care of herself in that way. She's set in motion, but I think most of us can agree that that law was set by God, and he made that environment be able to tolerate itself when things change. It's kind of hard for us as humans to tolerate things as they change. We look at the political world, we look at the way we regulate ourselves, from the food we eat to the price of gasoline. We allow these things to change, and unfortunately we tolerate it. But the other part about like instinct that I want to wrap this back to is that there's an instinctual part in every person. That the bottom line is that love feels good when you choose to love somebody, when you choose to take a stance that this is right and that is wrong. There's love involved. The thing I would ask for you to pan back and maybe look at yourself from the point of when you see somebody doing something wrong, is it possible for you to still love them? Because do you hate the person or do you hate the action? If you look at it deep enough, you're hating the person's action, because there could be a part of that person that you could love. And there's a part of that person that needs love. Therefore, they are acting the way they are acting because they don't have any love. And I want to refer to the mothers that might be listening to this. You instinctually love your kids. It's just a natural thing. I mean, I do too. I mean, men do too. I'm not trying to categorize that, but I mean, for women, they love, they instinctually gravitate towards nurturing. I mean, when a woman has a baby, it's pretty much known that they grow up a lot faster. At least most of them do. And that's from the place that, if they're influenced by an addiction or by the world and they can't get their mind straight, sure, they're going to maybe put something before their children. And that's unfortunate, but that's a circumstantial thing. But instinctually, we love somebody, even if somebody is doing somebody wrong. Like, there could be a part of that person that just needs some love because they could easily say they're sorry. So the habit we have nowadays is to not turn the other cheek. It's to yell back, wrong the person, as opposed to love the person. And that is a law. That is a law of God, is to love somebody. There's really two commandments that the Lord asks, is to love him above all things and to love one another as he loves you. And if you don't believe God loves you, I ask you to pause, either right now or when you're done listening to this, and look at all the things that are happening in a positive way around you. And you can start with just the oxygen in your lungs, the sunshine, the roof over your head. And even if you don't have a roof over your head, you're still alive. You were given the gift of life. And maybe it's not the greatest right now, but your choices can turn that around. And I bet if you pray to the Lord and you seek people who are also praying to the Lord, they will help you find that better life. Because you don't have to do it on your own. That's the instinctual part. You don't have to do it alone. Know that it's okay to ask for help. And know that it's okay to go find the people who want to help you. Don't go find the people who are your friends that only help you for a little bit. You might have to go to a stranger. But that stranger, if you're going to the right place, like a church, they're going to instinctually know this person needs help and we want to help you. That's one of the laws of God, is to help each other. You know, animals have this instinct to eat when they see a certain color, or they roll their eggs back under the thing, even if it doesn't even look like an egg. They just instinctually know how to nurture. Well, we do too. We instinctually know how to take care of one another. And if you want to call that a law, for lack of a better word, okay. But it's actually it's a command. But it's a command from the person, the thing, the spirit that put all this in place. It's a spirit. And it's bigger than we can ever imagine. So when you're stepping out in the world today, hold yourself in the place that you look at the other person instinctually with the love that God gave you. Instinctually with a compassion that person might need. A smile. Just a smile. Like when you go to the checkout counter, look at their name tag, say their name, ask them how they're doing. They might not respond, but they might look up and realize that you're actually interested in them and not just the job they're doing. We all heard stories of people taking that a step further and paying for the next person in line. Just pay for their groceries. You never know what's going to happen. But you'd be surprised at what it makes you feel like. Especially when you have the ability to do things like that. I'm not talking about, money-wise. Like, you have the ability to ask a person how they're doing. It makes a big difference. And when you walk away, I bet you'll feel better. You'll feel good. You'll feel that love, that instinctual thing that the Lord has given us. And then, just as a bonus, thank Him. Thank the Lord for what you have. So, just take a deep breath. We live in a world that's spinning pretty fast. 666,000 miles an hour. But that's all relative to the size. How fast your world's spinning, it's up to you. You can slow that puppy down, way down, to the moment that you're in. Take a deep breath and just love and be grateful. So think about the law, think about your habits, and what are your instincts. And just remember that the laws of man are fleeting. The laws of God will never, ever change. And those are the ones that we should all adhere to. The ones that don't change. So, until next time.